Alright, so this is the latest project done as of tonight, October 19th, is it? I started this in July, and basically what I did was I started with the hardware from a Music Man Axis, well, it's actually a Sterling, which is an Axis series guitar. I taped it up. I used frog tape, and I was a little bit worried as I was starting to layer. And you can see here, it's really thick, the individual coats and the lacquer. So you can actually see, if you catch it just right in the reflection, you can see a little rise. But if you feel it, it's very smooth. I used about 8 coats of top coat, and I used acrylic lacquer for pretty much the whole thing. I didn't use a gun or a pre-val can. I actually used prefab spray cans, and it still came out pretty good. There's just a little bit of orange peel here that I can't quite get rid of, and my concern isn't so much the clear coat, but as I'm sanding through on the red, I just don't want to sand through to the white. The same thing with this red here, right where my finger is. If you look above my finger, the black, that red lays right on the black, and there are about 3 coats of red acrylic right there. And I had to layer a bunch of acrylic in order to get it to cover the black. You can actually see here a little bit of bleed through. Let me see if I can get rid of the reflection. A little bit of bleed through on this line right here. I thought that was pretty unique, so I left it there. I didn't keep coating it with red, but I thought it was just kind of a nice little offset to the black. It creates a different shade of red between this one here and this one here. So again, all of the hardware is from Ernie Ball, and these pickups are actually very hot. I played them through a PV 5150 with a 412 cabinet, which I have, and very, very nice brown sound. This is a Sterling. It doesn't say licensed by Floyd Rose, but it's basically a Floyd Rose 2 tremolo with the longer locking screws. Up here we have a bolt-through locking nut. It's sort of a collar design. It actually bolts through from the back side. String retainer, non-locking tuning heads. I coated the head of the guitar, or the headstock rather, in the same color. And what I did, and I'm going to turn it on its side, I actually only painted the top. I left the back and the sides glossy, and I taped off a line, basically the same way that a binding line would work. That's about probably a ½ inch line, because I really wanted to preserve the gloss on the back. It's got a really nice, I'm going to flip this over and lay it down real nice. It's got a really nice gloss on the back, and the one thing that I had a little bit of a hard time with is the swirls. This is actually a nitrocellulose lacquer. I started with a nitrocellulose lacquer black base, and then I built it up with acrylics. So I think the fact that there are 2 different types of lacquer might have made a difference. This is actually, it does say that it's a Sterling guitar, and it's got a serial number. That's the hardware. And the electronics, the covers are also Sterling. It has regular strap nuts, or strap bolts, I guess you'd say. It does not have the Dunlop locking strap, whatever the hell you call those things. The neck is maple. This isn't a bird's eye maple. This is just a hard rock Canadian maple, but it has a really nice grain pattern that goes right through the head. And again, you can see the back of those locking screws. Non-marked tuners. These are 4+2, so they're actually 4 in line on one side, 2 in line on the other side. It's kind of a modified Fender version of a headstock for those of you who aren't familiar with a Wolfgang guitar. And on this side, we have a interesting, this is a little bit different from Eddie's configuration. This is a 5-way switch down here, which allows you to use the double coils or the humbuckers in a single coil configuration. So all the way down is humbucker. One up is actually a single coil. I believe it's this coil. It might be the black coil. In the middle is actually a combination of the 2 whites. Over here, we're going to say it's one of these coils. I believe it's the white coil. And then all the way up is a humbucker configuration. Truss rod adjustment down here, just like a regular EVH Van Halen or Music Man Axis. I think the Axis had that as well. It's a regular Wolfgang configuration, but the difference is that 5-way switch. Eddie, I believe, on the new EVH Wolfgangs has a 3-way switch up here, and it's more of a Les Paul switch, and it's either 1, 2, or both. So that's really the only difference in there. Other than that, that's pretty much what it is. Very small markers on the neck. If you look at the neck dots, the black dots are very small. If I would have had a preference, I would have gone with no markers, but this is actually a prefab neck. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers, but basically I went with that. There's one other thing that's very unique on this guitar, and that's the finish. And if I go in here, when I taped the black and then I retaped to blow the white, that black into white transition was so thick that when I sanded the red, it actually bled through a little bit into the white. So I painted the headstock first. The headstock was the first time of using the paints, the acrylic spray paints, and I can't remember what manufacturer they were. They were very good. I really, I think they're great for automotive applications, and I really liked them. Thinking about painting my motorcycle with those as well. But the red, I actually used a different enamel lacquer, and it was showing transparent. So this black line that was running through here just kept showing every time I blow through, and you can see a little bit of it right here. But it was coating very, very thin. So finally what I ended up doing was I went over it with a different red lacquer, an acrylic lacquer, and then when I sanded through on the red, before I hit the top coat, I actually sanded through a little bit to the white, but I think it looks really cool, because if you get up on it, you can really see the texture, and I just think it's a very unique look. The other thing that I did with this one, which was a little bit different from the Frankenstein that I did last time, I taped when I originally experimented with this paint, I blew the whole thing in black, taped it, left the tape on, blew it in white, added more tape, blew it in red, but I left that tape on. This time around, if you take off the tape in between the white coat and the red coat, and then you reapply the tape in different ways, you get a lot of really interesting crisscross patterns with the white and the black, which I found out Eddie actually did with his original Frankenstein. So he taped like a black line and then offset it just a little bit when he blew the red so that the white would show up as well as a pinstripe. I found some pinstripe tape as well, and that made a difference in the size of the lines, obviously. These lines are very crisp. When the frog tape pulled up, I was really worried about, particularly on the red coat, that the white would actually pull up with the red, but I left so much drying time in between. And if I could recommend anything else to someone who's trying to replicate this finish, it's that you really spend time allowing it to dry. You can almost see, if you get really, really close, you can almost see a little bit of bleed through of the red there. And I could continue to sort of paint or to sand on the edges of that and probably get it to go away, but I was really just worried about sanding through the white into the black. So I kind of left it as is. There's a little bit of swirl here. Here you can see a little bit of the orange peel, but all in all, I think it came out very smooth. You can feel the texture of the white and the black and the red, but it's very smooth, and it's really nicely locked in by that clear coat. So it's all along the edges, came out really nice. Again, going with that sort of binding half-inch or so of tape line, I think really made a nice difference, and it really made the top pop more like a Les Paul, you know, like a flame top Les Paul. So cream accents, not white. You know, white would just really sort of overpower these white lines here. So cream has a nice offset. The maple and maple fretboard, maple neck, obviously that's just the regular configuration for Eddie's Wolfgangs. And fairly small frets, pretty low action. I've got this set really low off the 12th fret, and there's a little bit of buzz when you don't have it plugged in, but obviously you're going to plug a guitar like this in. The Floyd Rose is really basically flat at the top. I could angle that up a little bit so that you could do pull-ups, but the real thing that you can do with this, and the only thing that it's really good for in terms of the way that Eddie plays, is with dives. So the only thing he's really doing is pulling down or pushing down on the tremolo arm anyway. It's the old style Fender, Floyd Rose screw-in version, not the Ibanez plug-in. So yeah, that's basically it. This was the my signature right there. I went ahead and put it on the underside of the neck. I thought that was a nice place to put it because it's real out of sight, and I know that the individual that I made this for, my uncle, he's going to potentially put this in a display case, so I wanted to have it in a spot where it wouldn't really stick out. So it's there if he wants to display it in a way where my signature's there. Otherwise, it's nice and hidden away. So nice and glossy, brand new. What do I use on this? I use Ernie Ball Super Slinkies. So these are 9s. Very, very, very light gauge. I was using light top, heavy bottom, and then I was using regular Slinkies for a while, but I think on this guitar, using the Super Slinkies was just a sort of a nice complement to the guitar. So I've talked enough. If you ever have a chance, go check out these Sterling model pickups, because they're very hot. I mean, they sound great. I have I'm kind of partial to EMG pickups right now. I'm playing an 81 and an 85 in this configuration, bridge and neck. In my opinion, the 81 pickup is just amazing with an 85 in the neck position, but this guitar is definitely a close second. I've played DiMarzio, PAF Pros. I played the DiMarzio Evolution pickups for a little while when I was going through my Steve Vai phase, and this is a very hot pickup. So good stuff to say about that, and very well constructed hardware, well polished, well plated, and everything just really fit in nice with this body design. So that's that. Another project down. Next project's going to be a Les Paul. I'm actually priming and body filling a Les Paul right now, and we'll see what that ends up turning out to. But for now, I'm almost thinking that I'm going to use this red lacquer for that Les Paul. It just it's a really bright lacquer, and it's very unique. I don't see many bright, Ferrari red Les Pauls. So that'll be the next project. And a quick shout out to StuMac. My buddies over at StuMac are always hooking me up with good stuff, and just always good things to say about